gotta do something. Just don't let them see me. Go. Come on, get out of here.
Let's go. Let's go.
The trailer begins, and correct me if I have any of this wrong, right at the end, as Avengers Endgame ends, it picks up right away, right?
That is correct.
That is correct. That you can say, that's something that's all right to say?
I mean, I'm almost
Kobe doesn't want to say anything
I'm not
at all.
touching
My
that,
mouth
but
just got
Tom
so
can
dry.
for sure take that one.
Immediately, I'm stressed.
And it has been 5 years, or at least 5 years, or what, since the, since this came back?
Oh, this is getting tough.
I don't want to answer that question.
Jacob?
Anybody?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
So why?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Why then and I know, why then are you all still in high school, is the question. Were there overdue library books that... And I know you can't say everything, but...
Why are we still in high school?
I mean, it might be one of the biggest plot holes of all time.
It might be. Kobe, do you know?
I don't want to pull that thread,
Okay.
but, I don't know. I don't know.
Jake, you have no idea, right?
What? Sorry.
I think it was the first time I've ever seen a trailer that had, like, a spoiler disclaimer in front of it.
And of all people, I gave the spoiler.
Yeah, right. Maybe that was just like when you take, like, the bad kid in class and you make him the hall monitor. Just
Wear
like,
that cone of shame.
Just for you. They wanted to hear you say the words aloud so that you would remember not to spoil
Not to
the
spoil
movie.
anything.
So, okay, so has everyone seen Avengers Endgame? Everyone? I should say.
There's one guy in the front who's shaking his head.
A better question is that guy.
There's one
Has
guy.
anyone-
That guy.
You better get out of here.
He's like,
All right, you plug your ears, okay? And plug your ears right now if you haven't seen, okay? Yeah, plug something up over there. So there was a funeral scene. How many of you were at, who was at the funeral?
I was at the funeral.
Funeral? Yes,
Yeah.
funeral.
Yeah.
Were you at the funerals in there?
No.
No.
Zendaya was not at the
We
funeral.
weren't invited, no.
Jake was not at the funeral.
No.
Jake,
This is how bad it is for me. I was told it was a wedding. No word of a lie. I showed
very
up
somber
to the
event,
wedding.
a very somber wedding.
Cover your ears. And I was like, where's Robert?
Oh, he did not come to his own funeral, huh?
Yeah. Sad times.
And was anyone CGI'd or was everyone really there?
Everyone was really there. It was a really insane day, and I still don't know how they pulled it off because everybody who's in that shot was there.
Did you know everyone was going to be there?
I didn't know.
You didn't? No.
No, it was really exciting. It was exciting because there was there was crews. There was like the Black Panther crew.
Yeah.
The movie hadn't even come out yet.
Yeah.
The Guardians crew, and it was just all these groups of people coming together. It was
When you shot that,
great
that
day.
movie hadn't even come out
No.
No.
Oh, this is also confusing. I can see why you guys don't know what you can say and what you can't say.
I thought it was a wedding. I was so excited.
And then, like Zendaya, when did you find out how Endgame ended?
When I watched it.
When you saw it?
Yeah.
And when did you see it? In the movie theater?
Yeah.
How about you, Jacob?
Movie theater.
Movie theater.
Hi everyone, it's Charlie. Surprise, surprise, there's a whole bunch of new Spider-Man Far From Home footage. They're just dropping it all over the place this week, I think because it's the week after Avengers Endgame. So like they joke about the Tom Holland spoiler warning that he gave before the last big trailer that they dropped on Monday. I think it's mostly because of that, and they've started their official press tour. They're going to be traveling all over the world showing off clips, so there'll be way more footage posting in the next month or so. But obviously they confirm a couple big details about the end of Avengers Endgame, the timeline, and what's going on during Spider-Man Far From Home. There's also another interview clip from this where Tom Holland confirms Hydro Man during that big Venice Canals fight, so I'll play that in a second. But if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the Marvel videos. We'll be doing Easter egg stuff all summer long between Spider-Man Far From Home Home, more Avengers Endgame and deleted scenes and all that stuff. There'll be a whole bunch of that coming up. Plus, we have all the Marvel Phase 4 stuff that they're going to drop at Comic-Con later this summer in July. That'll be after Spider-Man Far From Home, though. We're also still doing that Infinity Gauntlet giveaway. All you have to do to enter that is be a subscriber and leave a Spider-Man comment on the video. I'll name a new winner at the end of this, too. This is the clip of Tom Holland talking about that Hydro Man fight.
What did you think? Did it live up to the expectations you had after shooting that?
I mean, it reminded me of the hardest days of work I had on
Oh,
this
was
thing,
that the
for
hardest
sure.
one?
Yeah, there's a shot in that trailer where I get punched by Hydro Man.
Uh-huh.
And in the day, I'm sitting on the ground on this thing called a ratchet. So you basically, you're attached to this machine, they press the button, and you zoom backwards, smash into a wall, and there's a tip tank that's meant to soak me in water.
Uh-huh.
And it's meant to look like the water's smashing me into the wall. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, it's October, it's cold. I know they haven't heated the water in the tank. I know this is about to be a really tough morning. They go, 3, 2, 1, action! They fire the button, I whiz back, I hit the wall completely dry, and then you hear the SFX guy go, sorry! And then, and then the water...
So even though they're calling that character Hydro Man, and you see the Easter egg on the boat for Hydro Man's first appearance in the comics behind Ned Leeds when they're in the canals, like I explained in my last big Spider-Man trailer video that I posted yesterday with a whole different clip talking about the multiverse, the director said that they're using a lot of these B-list Spider-Man villains, but they're taking a very different spin on them. So instead of making them look like humans like they did in the original comics when they appeared, or during the 90s Spider-Man animated series, if you ever watched that, they're making them seem more like elementals, and it's all part of Mysterio's plan here. So obviously there's a big twist, but they haven't revealed that in any of the interviews yet. So it's still a little bit of speculation about how Mysterio and these elementals are connected. But if you've read a lot of Mysterio storylines during the Spider-Man comics, you probably have a pretty good idea for where they're headed with this. When they're talking about the timeline, the beginning of Spider-Man Far From Home, like, yeah, it picks up in the moments after Avengers Endgame, just confirming that it does sound like Tom Holland is genuinely confused why they're still in high school. Like, they joke about it being a big plot hole, but the Russos and Kevin Feige separately sort of explained what's going on with that. The reason why they're still in school is because the moment they come back after Hulk snaps everyone back is because they come back at the exact moment that they left. So they haven't changed, they haven't aged a day. So essentially, they're still a bunch of 16, 17-year-old kids. Your follow-up question is then, what happened to the other people that they went to school with? Are they in college now? How is that going to be explained? Are there any people that we'll see who they used to go to high school with who are now way older that will show up during the movie? Based on some of the jokes that the Russos made about that, I don't think that we're going to see a whole lot of that, but they will reference some of it at the beginning of the film. Like during the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, you see Iron Man drawings all over the place. When you see them in school here and MJ walks in and they start talking to each other, in the background you can see all the Iron Man drawings behind them on the school wall. So clearly they're going to be addressing some of that at the beginning of the film. But for the most part, a lot of the core kid characters all got snapped, so that's why they're all the same age. Like Flash Thompson, douchebag as he is, also got snapped, so that's why he's still the same age. They also confirmed who this character is, too. People are like, is he going to be playing Amadeus Cho? Like, everyone was thinking of every Asian character they could think of from the Spider-Man or the Marvel comics, but the director explained that he's actually playing an original character. He's not someone big from the comics, and he's actually more of a romantic rival for MJ, for Peter Parker. He's a bit of a poser in the way that Mysterio is a superhero poser. So you can see what they're doing. Spider-Man has villains, quote-unquote, so to speak, in his everyday life as a high school kid for the things that he wants in his normal life, but he also has villains to defeat in his superhero life as his Spider-Man persona. I also love when Tom Holland is talking about filming that funeral scene at the end of Avengers Endgame. I was told that it was a wedding. The same thing actually happened for pretty much all those other actors. There was an interview clip where Kevin Feige was actually joking about that. He said, for the longest time, we called it the wedding scene.
But, you know, the amazing shot that Joe and Anth did at the end at Tony's funeral that pushes past more cast members than you might have ever seen in one shot before. By the way, that's the first time, publicly or privately, I've ever called it the funeral. On the call sheets in the script, it was called the wedding. Wow. It was called the wedding scene, and we still refer to it. We shot it almost 2 years ago. We refer to it as that amazing day we shot the wedding shot.
And it's not stitched together. It's
they were all there. You had things like Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man, coming up to me and going, "Is that Michelle Pfeiffer over there? Is she in this?" Because we hadn't released Ant-Man and the Wasp yet. Wow. That was an amazing day.
Before we saw the actual ending and Iron Man was the one to die, that was my big theory, is that they were going to end with the wedding of Pepper Potts and Tony Stark. There's a lot of hearsay and conjecture and speculation about why Robert Downey Jr. wanted to leave the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Would they have changed the ending if he wanted to stay on and continue playing Iron Man? But the Russos actually did say that his very famous "I am Iron Man" snap moment that he went out on, they actually had to talk Robert Downey Jr. and he didn't want to say that line originally, but they had a very special dinner while they were shooting the other scenes in the film, and they just happened to have a really powerful producer that Robert Downey Jr. was friends with at dinner with them. And the other producer, Joel Silver, who's actually a really big power player in Hollywood, said, "Robert, you absolutely have to say that line, 'I am Iron Man.'" So after that, he agreed to it. The Russos are like, okay, we have to go shoot this scene. And that's when they shot the "I am Iron Man" snap scene. So that actually happened pretty late in the game while they were still editing the film. There'll be all kinds of stories like this when the DVD comes out later this summer, too. There's still probably like 1 or 2 people in the world that haven't seen the film. Like, they found a person in Jimmy Kimmel's studio, the one man in the world that has not seen Endgame. So once we get ready for the big Blu-ray DVD release, I will do some giveaway stuff for that, too. The other big thing that they talk about during this interview, too, is Maria Hill talking about how she only really had scenes in London, but I think they also filmed a lot of this Venice stuff in the base. People are like, is Maria Hill going to wind up being the Chameleon? Is the Chameleon going to be acting as Nick Fury during the film? There's just a couple scenes during the film where they're playing it very James Bondy face swap style, so people are like, is the Chameleon going to be pretending to be any of the other characters during this? They haven't completely confirmed that the Chameleon is in the film yet, but the actor that everyone thinks is the Chameleon is actually in the background of these cave shots when they're in their secret base talking to Mysterio, Maria Hill, and Nick Fury. This is the actor. You can see him in the background of this shot. So obviously in this moment, Nick Fury really is Nick Fury talking to Spider-Man, and Maria Hill really is Maria Hill reacting to all this stuff. But it is totally possible that they have the Chameleon doing something like that during the film. I explained a little bit about what the director has said about the overall plot of the film in my last big trailer video, so I'll post that Spider-Man link at the end of this. There's another big Avengers Endgame video that I'm working on. I'll try to post that tomorrow. Obviously, more Game of Thrones coming up this weekend, so leave all your video requests in the comments below. Congratulations to the giveaway winner from my last big Spider-Man video, Rachel Autumn Reddy. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your details. While you wait for everything, click here for that last big Spider-Man Far From Home scene where Mysterio explains the multiverse, and click here to rewatch the full Spider-Man Far From Home trailer a billion more times. Thank you so much for watching.